Rooty Hill monkeys.
We also get to the point, you know. We get to the bananas.
Yeah.
Who would be a better player? Gandhi says
Cameron McInnes.
It is in the Bible not to wrestle your
My name's Wayne from Penrith. Yeah, congratulations on your new show, The Two Silly Monkeys.
Yeah, magic powder. Dr. Pepper.
How the heck are you going to do that?
Feel there a cake or something.
What's going on, guys?
What is
Welcome
up?
back to the Rooty Hill Monkeys, episode 3. How are you feeling, Hamish?
I'm feeling good. It's been too long since.
We've got a bit of a setup going.
That's right.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? It took a bit of time to get everything where it had to be.
Yeah, I'm hyped. We finally got a mic, a working mic.
Yes. Nice, we've got our jerseys on as well,
Yeah,
looking
we got our
good.
little pot plants. Got to have
Got the
the
pot-
Bible.
Yep, special lamp, and obviously our sponsors, Dr.
Yeah.
Pepper.
We chose to leave the blinds up today so you can see the beauty of
Yeah.
Rooty Hill behind us. Massive tree there.
Yep, Stephen
So-
Crichton hangs out just out there on a Sunday morning.
That's right.
So, awesome.
Yeah.
Let's hop into it.
Get hyped.
Get hyped. All
New
right,
episode.
fan of the week. Who do
Fan
you have?
of the week. For me, I've got Jack Burge, a fan who recommended to us what we're doing right now. Filming parts of our podcast so that we can, show our fans what happens behind the scenes. Us training.
Yeah. So like, this is what it normally looks like week to week, and we thought we'd give you guys like a visual. And you guys can give us some feedback as to how you're feeling about seeing us speak. My fan of the
100%.
week is a guy named Matt. Matt Kavanagh. He's a good guy from church. Legend. And he's just been listening to every single episode. Just on the down low, he hasn't even been telling me that he was listening. And then one day I was just like, "Oh, Matt, have you heard my podcast?" He's like, "Yeah, I've been keeping up to date with every episode." So Matt
that.
Kavanagh, big shout out to my boy. Good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Alright, now I reckon before we get kicked off with the footy stuff, I think we gotta thank our sponsors,
Yep.
Dr. Pepper.
Awesome. So sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
As
Once
always.
again, thank you guys. Without them, we wouldn't be able to get a setup like this going.
That's right.
What flavour do you have?
Today I've got the classic cream soda. How about you?
I got the original. Dr.
Even more
Pepper.
classic.
Full sugar awesomeness.
Too good.
Alright, let's
Shall we
dig
crack
in.
it
Let's dig
open?
in.
Hey!
Let's go. Hey, nice.
Go to drink.
Go to drink. Give me a review. What are you thinking?
Nothing like a cream soda, Dr. Pepper. Oh, I love it. I'd have one every day. Yeah, I do have one every
Nice. Awesome. So we actually got a few questions this week again. I'm really looking forward to going through them. What was the first one?
Max Wire asks, what difference does Ben Hunt really make at Brisbane? Is it a premiership worthy one?
Awesome. Well, we'll kind of jump
Great
the gun
question.
there to one of the biggest topics of this week, which is Ben Hunt signing to the Brisbane Broncos. What were your initial thoughts when you found that out?
Yeah, my initial thoughts were, how on earth can the Broncos afford him? Like, he was asking for what, like
800,000, I
Yeah,
think,
something
a
like that.
season.
Absolutely insane. And Broncos have already made heaps of massive signings this year. I think his signing with the Broncos was around 550.
Oh,
so
is that what they're saying?
big decrease from what he was initially asking for. I think he's just happy to leave the Dragons.
I know that he was
Yeah.
very tempted to stay in Sydney, potentially with like the Bulldogs or
Yeah, for sure.
or not the Titans, but
I think Roosters were another big one.
Yeah, the Roosters. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking of. But I think he'll make a huge difference, especially with Ezra Mam potentially being out for the entire season. I think he's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
Also, a fun fact, because he'll probably be in the 5'8" position, so he'll have the halves combination with Adam Reynolds. The two of them combined will have the most amount of experience of a halves combo ever in the history of the NRL.
Wow.
I think it's 621 games
Oh my goodness.
between them. So that'll be awesome, just that experience with the older guys,
Yeah.
working with younger blokes like Reece Walsh. I think, it'll be a huge difference. And obviously I said
Yeah, for
I've
sure.
got them in my top 4 at least.
Yeah, definitely. Broncos have so many young players, and having that experience would definitely give them a big boost. And also, when Ezra Mam comes back, Ben Hunt also has a lot of experience playing hooker. And a big talk about the Broncos this year has been perhaps an underwhelming performance of Billy Walters, Kevin Walters' son.
Yes,
So having him
yes.
being able to move into hooker when Ezra Mam comes back, I think that'll also just boost the Broncos game even more.
Yeah, I think Billy Walters won't have much time left at the Broncos unless he has some like crazy performance at the start of the season.
Yeah, for sure. As long as Ben Hunt's there.
Yeah, once Ezra Mam comes back, I think he's lost that hooker position.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but great question. Great question, Max. But yeah, I think it could potentially be a premiership worthy signing.
Oh, 100%.
They're
a dangerous team next year.
They've got a huge roster now. So I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, keep your eye out. Alright, next question we have. Cheese asks, when guest?
When guest? Okay, huge question.
Yeah.
Obviously there's been some talk of a few different players.
That's right.
Yeah, there's actually some crazy developments going on, potentially to do with maybe Stephen Crichton. We won't go into too much detail.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep your eye out. We'll obviously keep you guys updated on Instagram. But
a few conversations happening with a few different people at this time, but nothing set in stone, no ink to paper, just kind of, you know...
Guys, yeah, just keep a keen eye out. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, everything's been done except the signature now.
Yeah. Yeah, but we've definitely been in the talks with a few players, some like jersey, like reserve grade players, and also potentially some NRL players.
Yeah.
We won't say any names right now, but
Podcast is still early days, early development, still trying to work that kind of stuff out. But definitely stay tuned and in future episodes.
But we've got huge guests on the radar, so I'm really excited. Okay, so Suhan from Wuhan asks, if I give you a banana, will you follow me on Insta? Now we've actually gotten a few messages like, follow us back. Why haven't you followed us? You guys dogs. I know. Just the thing is, if we follow one person, that means we have to follow everyone. So yeah, we're going to follow like official NRL pages and obviously like the editors of our podcast. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. We're always going to like your comment. We're always going to respond. Yeah, just maybe be a little understanding as to why I can't follow you back. Alright guys, we've had a few fan calls this week. Like last week, huge feedback. You guys really loved the phone call from Wayne. Thanks Wayne again. So yeah, let's answer some phone call questions. Yeah, if you want to pick up.
Let's do it. Yep, first one.
Hi, Silly Monkeys. I'm a big fan. I'm just wondering if there's a chance that you guys might be doing an episode at Taronga Zoo in the future.
Awesome question,
Interesting
Cheese.
question, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a year pass. I've got 2 year passes to
right.
the Sydney Zoo, which isn't too far from here. It's a bit more Western Sydney, closer to us.
Yeah, okay.
So if we were ever to do maybe like a zoo episode in the enclosure or something,
Could be the move. Meet some real life
monkeys. Yeah, I know there might be like some monkey encounter things that we could go on if that's what you guys want.
100%. Yeah, let us know what kind of monkey content you guys want.
Yeah, but it'd likely be Sydney Zoo in Blacktown rather than Taronga Zoo.
Yeah,
a little too far for us. The commute is pretty hard. But yeah, great idea, Cheese. We're always happy to mix up the location.
Yeah,
if you guys get bored of our little office.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks,
Great
Cheese.
idea. Thank you. Let's listen to the next call.
Hi, Adam from the Silly Monkeys. I have a question. What's the difference between NRL and AFL?
Awesome. A simple question, but there is actually a lot to that. What can I say? NRL is just better in every dimension and facet of the game.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm actually not super familiar with AFL as a sport. I just know they wear singlets and some jumping. It's really big. I don't know. What do you think?
I think I can say a few of the key differences is NRL is bigger in New South Wales and Queensland, whereas AFL you'll find in other parts of Australia. It's a lot bigger there. Another thing AFL is that it doesn't really matter too much if you hit the ball forward. It's a lot more chaotic. NRL you see 2 lines of either defenders or attackers. It's very structured. AFL everyone's kind of spread out all over the field. And also AFL the only way you can score is by kicking. If you kick through the middle, it's 6 points, and if you kick through the post on either side, it's 1 point. Whereas NRL, you score by getting the ball on the ground with downward pressure, and that's 4 points. And if you score a conversion after that, it's 2. You can also score field goals, but another key difference is that it has to bounce before then. NRL, you'll see a tackle just about every 5 seconds. You'll see people at the end of the game with blood gushing out of their head, people looking completely crazy like Cameron McInnes. Whereas AFL, it's basically imagine a bunch of halfbacks and fullbacks just scattered around the field trying to kick balls through posts. That's AFL.
And actually, contrary to common belief, AFL is more dangerous than NRL, just overall in injuries, especially neck and head injuries. They're more common in AFL. But yeah, I think the biggest difference, other than the rules, is AFL isn't very international, whereas NRL, it's not as big as rugby around the world. But there is the English Super League and some of the Pacific Islands.
Yeah, and you'll see very few tackles in AFL. However, the tackles you will see, usually people, fling them to the ground, being very aggressive. Whereas NRL, it's a lot more structured. The tackles have a lot more technique, and there's a lot more technique in how to defend from those tackles. You can also see your defender straight on, so you're prepared for it rather than just getting taken from behind. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
There's a few of the differences. There are obviously way more, with the rules and stuff.
And just in terms of the names as well, NRL is National Rugby League and AFL is Australian Football League. So completely different sports, no relation whatsoever. Even the balls look different. They've got like some seams on the top.
Yeah, a lot more padded balls as well, rather than...
And their ball is like a lot lighter. You can kick it higher, for just for the sport.
Yeah, and their field's a circle, whereas NRL's a rectangle.
I actually, I never watched AFL, but I watched their grand final this year. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, the Brisbane Lions versus Sydney Swans.
Yeah, and it was horrible.
It
was like the scores in the grand final were doubled, and I'm sure that there've been great AFL grand finals in the past, but just my experience this year with the sport.
Absolute upset.
I don't think I could get into it. But yeah, some people like that more than NRL, and that's okay, I guess.
Yeah, as Christians, we love everyone.
So we've actually got a secret source from the inside of the NRL who's been giving us some information and asking us some questions. We actually can't disclose his name, so he just goes by the Garden Gnome.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, g'day monkeys. This is the Garden Gnome. Big fan of the show. Really enjoy listening to you gibberers tell it like it is. The question I've got for you blokes is, which out of all the NRL mascots is the worst one and deserves to be axed and replaced? Thanks, fellas.
Crazy question. Which is the worst mascot? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of the mascots. So, obviously you have bulldogs, you have panthers. You can visualize them instantly. It's a bulldog. It's a
Reefy
panther.
from the Sharks.
Classic
I
Reefy.
think one of the weird ones is the Parramatta Eels. No, it doesn't really look too natural.
And I'm just thinking, is the Storm like a Viking or something?
The Storm's just a guy in a purple kind of... What's it called?
Wait, I think he dresses as maybe like Grimace.
Yeah, Grimace would be a good one, but I think...
Is that Para or Storm?
This is the actual Parramatta.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Para. I think the Parramatta mascot's pretty cooked. It looks like some sort of weird hybrid of a dragon and an eel. It just looks horrible. I really don't rock with it, but I've never really liked eels in general.
Yeah, it looks very weird colours. Can't get behind it.
Yeah.
There's some other teams that might have weird ones.
The Storm, could you look at what the Storm looks like? Because I'm not even visualising what they are, because they're
I
weather.
The Storm one's pretty good.
Is it
It's like
lightning?
a guy in kind of a buff suit that's like purple.
Okay, nice.
I think the Broncos got a good one, which is a natural guy riding a horse.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I rock with the Broncos. I feel like any club that has an animal in the name, they're really they have like kind of the simple job of just making a mascot out of those. And it's the clubs that have to get creative.
Yeah, South Sydney also has a good mascot. There are more good mascots than bad ones.
Yeah.
I think Parramatta Eels easily takes the cake. Absolutely strange looking fella.
Yeah,
I don't know who came up with that design, but
maybe I haven't seen the Dolphins one. That could be a little
Dolphins
just because they're new to the club. They haven't really made a history with their mascot yet.
Yeah, let's have a look and see if there is a Dolphins mascot. Real quick.
I think let's flip the question. Who would you say is the GOAT?
The best mascot.
The GOAT mascot.
I don't think Dolphins have a mascot as of yet.
Oh wow.
But who would I say is the best mascot? Or I'd have to go, I think, with South Sydney. I think the iconic, rabbit wearing the Rabbitohs cap. It's just iconic. You see it, you know it straight away. All the other mascots, like, you might have to think for a second or two if you're not a fan of the club. South Sydney, I think, is maybe one of, if not the only one, where every single NRL fan can go, oh yes, that's the South Sydney mascot.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think for me, it's probably the Bulldog. Bully the Bulldog. Yeah, he's just a legend. I remember growing up with him, and he'd come and give hugs to like the little ones. So yeah, for me, Bully the Bulldogs, but I think that's a little bit of personal bias just growing up with him.
For sure. Who doesn't love
looking up to him for inspiration.
Great guy.
Classic bully, friendly guy. Yeah, and I also like that they all have their female counterparts as well.
Yeah, true. Too good. One more person.
Our next caller actually comes all the way from America.
Whoa.
So yeah, obviously our things are getting a little international. I think you said maybe Argentina we had listeners from as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely crazy.
Great to see the podcast is growing. Let's have a listen.
Hey, I'm Stuart Todd Whitworth, musician in San Diego, and I was curious, should they move the grand final game from an evening game to an afternoon game? Interesting. Go Doggies.
Yes. Great question. Should the grand final go from evening to afternoon to evening?
Go from evening to afternoon, I think.
Yeah, evening to afternoon.
Yeah. I'd personally say no. I don't think so. I think, when you're watching NRL, those Sunday afternoon games, when the sun's out, there's a shadow over the field. There's just something about them. The atmosphere isn't there. I usually see like 3 people in the crowd or something. Everyone's kind of doing things in the afternoon. Whereas in the evening, you have the atmosphere of the night. Everyone coming together. Everyone's watching it. Everyone's staying up late, waiting for the grand final. It's an event. Whereas in the afternoon, I feel like very rarely do you get any NRL game that feels like an event when it's in the afternoon. How about you? What do you think?
For me personally, obviously you and I, we both go to church. At 5 p.m. And I feel like, so far the evening games, which end up happening after church, have been the best. Because you don't miss out on them. If it was, say, it started at 4, you'd have to either choose church or the grand final. That'd be obviously a hard decision for us. So yeah, I prefer, just because logistically it's easier for me and also practically for you as well.
Yeah, 100%.
But if it were my choice, I'd have it at maybe 4 or 5, except on a Saturday instead of a Sunday. I feel like Saturdays are awesome. It's the middle of the weekend. It's chill. You don't have work tomorrow. You don't have school tomorrow. Whatever it might be. So yeah, I'd have maybe an afternoon game, but instead of on a Sunday, I'd have it on a Saturday, because people are free on Saturdays.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that as well. Like, if it was afternoon, it would have to be pretty late afternoon when the sun's setting at least. And if so, I think Saturday would be a much better day for grand finals personally. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, good
stuff.
All right, thanks, Ronald.
Cheers. All right. Next we have GOAT Player of the Week.
GOAT Player of the Week. Awesome.
Who was your GOAT Player of the Week?
My GOAT Player of the Week was Damien Cook. Now, obviously, we'll get a bit more into the signings later. But as you guys know, we went to school with a boy named Lockie Ilias, who was kind of treated like a scapegoat to the Rabbitohs last year. They were having a horrible season with players like Latrell just mucking around being grubs.
Yep.
And then it all got blamed on their one halfback, Lockie Ilias. And so he got dropped to reserve grade, and then in reserve grade, he broke his leg or something crazy. Yeah,
it was insane. He was doing, I think, either a field goal or just like kicking it up the field, and someone took his leg out while it was in the air, and that was enough to break his leg. And you notice, like, the weeks leading after this, there was a lot more kind of pushback on these kind of things. I think Sean Johnson managed to tie a game because of a penalty that happened from that. Harry Grant's infamous severely soft sin bin against the Sharks. For similar incidents like this, after seeing how that contact broke Lockie Ilias's leg. But yeah, that was huge. Go on.
Yeah, so really I felt he was treated horribly by the Rabbitohs as a club, particularly Demetrio, and he's gone now, so I guess it's all good.
Yeah.
But my GOAT of the week isn't Lockie Ilias, who's now signed to the Dragons. We can get into that. But it's Damien Cook, who was also a player at the Rabbitohs at the time. They had him playing reserve grade a little bit as well, so I think he was treated almost a little unfairly as well. But recently he came out to the press and the public and said that he felt while he was at the club that Lockie Ilias wasn't treated right. And yeah, I just like seeing a senior player sticking up for the newbie, for the young guy who didn't really have a voice for himself. So yeah, just the way he stood up to the media and to the Rabbitohs as a club to say Lockie Ilias wasn't treated right. And it's good that he's signed with a club who's probably going to keep him off the bench and actually playing in game.
Yeah.
Who's your GOAT of the week?
My GOAT of the week for similar reasons is Wayne Bennett, and he's not a player anymore. He's a former player now. Been a coach for quite a while. I think since he was like 27, he's been a coach.
Yeah, awesome choice. What about Wayne Bennett this week? Made you choose him as your GOAT?
Yeah, I think he had a conversation with Lockie Ilias before he left the Rabbitohs, where he informed Lockie Ilias that if he stayed at the club, he wouldn't be first pick for the halves positions. I think that's going to stay with Cody Walker and Jack Whiten. And he was honest about that, and he wanted Lockie Ilias to have every chance he could get, so he let him go to the Dragons so he could reach his full potential as a halfback.
Yeah, I always like it when there's transparency.
Yeah, he's not being greedy, not keeping him for himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's moving forward Lockie Ilias' career as well, you know.
Yeah.
If he had to sit on the bench the whole season, there'd be no point. So it's really good to see
100%.
Wayne Bennett open with the players even being willing to let them go like that. So yeah, awesome.
Should refs have post-game press conferences, and why or why not?
I think yes. I think yes. Now, I'm not sure if it'll actually happen, but I think they should, because it gives them a chance to explain themselves. Because often they make crazy decisions, or decisions that might not actually be crazy, but from the outside it seems that way. So yeah, I think it just gives them a chance to defend themselves, to explain the game, and even in some cases apologise to the fans if they made wrong calls. But also I think it would be a window potentially for a lot of hate for them. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think like an instance where this would be a good thing was during the grand final this year.
Yeah, that's exactly,
who was it? It was Howarth, I think. Jack Howarth, yeah. It looked in the video that they showed like he got the ball down. However, after like further review, another camera angle, it was revealed that it was actually part of his arm that was going down on the floor. However, this sparked a lot of controversy in the media. Lots of people going on about how it looks like the ball touched the ground. I think most, if not like all people that saw the game, like it looks like the ball was going down. The commentators were saying it. The Storm players started celebrating. But yeah, that was just like kind of the trickery of the camera, of the colour, of the arm, of the ball. So that would have been a great moment in the press conference for them to say, oh no, this is the footage that we actually reviewed, and as you can see here, the ball doesn't touch the ground. Now kind of quickly diffuse like any kind of hate for the refs. Everyone would be able to go, oh yeah, okay, my bad.
Yeah, post-game complaints, it's always annoying when, fans aren't happy with the result and aren't content with like the rulings that happen during the game. So I think, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
and it would also keep refs accountable to strive to make more of those correct calls and be able to take the time to think through that more. As they definitely do. However, sometimes you see things kind of get by, especially for refs in the bunker. They might be able to look at things more carefully and consider more options, knowing that they might have to be kept accountable for that.
And I feel like it humanizes the refs, actually seeing them, seeing them answer questions. It brings them to a level that I feel like they're not at right now. Right now, they kind of just seem like annoying people on the field.
We get those interviews with the players, we see them behind the scenes, we get to know who they are before we see them go out and play. If we saw similar things for ref, I feel like they'd get less hate. At the same time, maybe it would be something where journalists and people kind of start spraying more on the refs and being rude to them, which we don't want. We want to protect our refs. There wouldn't be rugby league if there wasn't any ref.
Yeah, nice. Also with that example that you used with like the bunker in the grand final, I have no idea why they didn't show that second angle. I feel like in that case they could have just showed the other angle
100%.
And shown his arm underneath the ball if they released it later.
Yeah, like an hour after the game finished, they were like, here's the one camera angle that shows that there was clearly no grounding. Which would have been very good, but who knows? They've got their reasons, I'm sure. But maybe in the post-game interview they could clear that up as well.
Yeah, nice.
That's what we want. Alright, what's our next question? Maybe you could try to answer this for us, but who do you think is a better coach? Madge Maguire or Ivan Cleary?
It's going to sound controversial, and obviously I'm a Panthers fan, but I'm going to say Madge. I'm going to say Michael Maguire.
Whoa.
And
all time or just this year? Or go on.
Just I'm not saying like Madge is the GOAT of all time or Ivan Cleary is the GOAT of all time. It's a different conversation. But I think right now who I think is the better coach, historically I think it's Madge. He's won at the international level for the Kiwis. Obviously this year he won Origin for the Blues. He's won an NRL premiership. I think with the Rabbits in 2015 or 2014 or something. and he's even won in the Super League, which is big. And I'm pretty sure he's the only coach to ever do that.
Whoa.
And yeah, I think even though Ivan Cleary's won 4 grand finals in a row and he's made 5 grand finals in a row, he hasn't really dominated all areas of the sport in a way that Madge has. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it would definitely be a close call, but I have to say, within an NRL context, you know, when you're given like the international players, when you're given those state of origin players and stuff, you know, it's a completely different thing to coaching regular NRL throughout the season. I think over the past 4 years, Ivan Cleary has shown he's a very capable coach. But yeah, I don't think these two would be my top 1 coach. I think for me personally, they would have to go to Craig Bellamy. But yeah, I think they're both definitely respectable coaches, and we're going to see a lot out of them next season for sure.
And yeah, we can have a more in-depth conversation as to like who the GOAT is in terms of coaching.
Yeah, maybe we'll
and
save
you
that
could break
for
that
next
down,
episode.
but yeah, maybe next episode.
Yeah, let us know if that would be something you're interested in. Yeah, signings of the week. As we mentioned.
Yeah, we kind of skimmed through these.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously Ben Hunt to the Broncos, awesome. We think that he could make some real change there.
2 years there as well. Which is a huge
nice.
signing
And
for someone in their 30s as well.
Yeah, and we can only assume that after those 2 years, he'll probably retire. He's pretty old. I think he's like 34 or something now.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially since the grand final choke. Do you want to recount to some of the viewers the 2015 grand final, Broncos versus Cowboys? They're tied at last minute, and then what happened?
Yeah.
So golden point.
Yeah, after the siren was called, you know, it was basically just either a tackle, ball goes out, or a try, you know, from there to end the game. Cowboys somehow scored a miracle try. It was one of the great NRL moments. Jonathan Thurston missed the conversion. Yeah, they got the ball back, they were playing, and then they did a massive bomb straight to Ben Hunt. He was right underneath and somehow just slipped through his arms.
Dropped it.
Oh, painful moment for any Broncos fan. You know, almost as painful as maybe last year's grand final as well. But yeah, so we're hoping Cowboys then went on to win that premiership.
JT, and obviously everyone was happy with Jonathan Thurston winning that game.
Yeah, after so many years too of the Cowboys kind of getting kicked out of finals off very controversial decisions. Yeah, finally seeing them win was a great historic moment. But yeah,
I'm sure there's a huge amount of regret that Ben Hunt deals with later on in his career after choking that grand final for the Broncos, and they haven't won since. And I think it's like 18 years, something crazy that they haven't won, and he lost that opportunity for them a few years ago. So who knows what could happen? Obviously, I said top 4.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on his back, not to repeat that, but also kind of a lot of motivation to work harder and want to make a name for himself with the Broncos.
So I think if he can get a grand final win with the Broncos, that'd be the ultimate ending to, I think, his long and awesome career.
For sure.
Yeah.
Lockie Ilias, we mentioned this before as well.
Boom,
another
shakalaka.
2 years signing.
2 years to the Dragons, and I think if he proves himself there, and he's actually, I think, slotting into Ben Hunt's position.
Big shoes.
And yeah, I think if he does well there, he could easily extend that contract beyond the 2 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously we like him. And I'm hoping to
100%.
see him succeed, so hopefully he'll do well there and thrive there.
And he said he hasn't really thought much about it. You know, he hasn't felt a lot of that pressure. He's obviously thought about the signing, career move, but he hasn't thought much about the Ben Hunt aspect of it, filling in for him. He says he just wants to play halfback. He just enjoys NRL. He just wants to do his role at the Dragons.
Yeah, nice. Good guy, good young guy. And yeah, who knows, maybe we'll have him on the podcast sometime soon.
Yeah, get hyped. Get your hopes up.
And then we have Ryan Pappenhausen extending 1 more year with the Storm. And I think that just goes to show he's after a premiership, not the money. He doesn't care about the money because I think he would have got 200,000 more, maybe more than that, at somewhere, say like the Bulldogs. But I think he wants to get back to that grand final like this season.
Yeah,
with
for
the
sure. Storm are hungry. They're hungry for a premiership.
Yeah,
and
so that didn't come as too much surprise. Obviously, like I like the Doggies, so I was kind of hoping he'd go there as their fullback. But
yeah, I think Craig Bellamy has said that Sui Falogo, because of this, they're not entirely sure what they'll do with him, but they want to move him around positions, get him some experience in different areas, and see what his strengths are. So it's looking like he'll be their long-term fullback option. Or maybe another position if he thrives somewhere else. But for now, Ryan Pappenhausen still there, and he'll probably explore the open market next season. Yeah.
It's
good.
exciting to see where he goes. And I'm sure if he doesn't make the grand final in the 2025 season, he'll find his way to another club.
Yeah,
Who
definitely.
knows, maybe like the Doggies.
Yeah, Sharks are another contender, I think.
Yeah.
And Eels seem like a contender for everyone's signature at the moment right now.
Yeah, I think they'll take whatever they can get.
Yeah, for
At
sure.
this point.
They'll need to.
And then one more signing, I think.
Anyways, yeah, Bronson Cherry
Bronson
extends
Cherry.
for 3 years.
3 years with the
Bulldogs.
Dogs. Yeah, solid
3 years.
signing for them. I guess he's a good player.
Yeah, big time.
And yeah, he made a comeback after some incidences
He's
with
doing really well.
enhancements. But
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Bronson Cherry was taking performance-enhancing drugs and got suspended for 3 years as a result. Massive time, same length as a signing actually.
wow.
But yeah,
But it's
he's
good to see
back
that,
and better
it's
than
good to
ever.
see that he's made a comeback. And I watched an interview with
definitely.
him. And he seemed really remorseful for doing that enhancement kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm keen to see what he can do with the Doggies.
Yeah.
Ezra Mam.
Ezra Mam.
So we've had some updates on the situation. Previously, it was unsure what was happening with him. Was he in rehab? Was he even going to stay with the Broncos? But we've had some updates. Madge isn't firing him. Maybe we covered this a little bit in the previous episode. But now he's actually working on the tools, doing like a construction job.
Yep. He's starting shifts at 5 a.m. and he's working with no pay. Which I think is a good thing, why would you reward someone with some free money?
Yeah,
for
and just
working?
giving him a taste of like the working man, what people like you and I have to deal with on a daily basis. He's having to do.
Yeah, clubs like Storm and I think Paras started to do this as well. They have their players work for a period of time, unpaid, just getting job experience so that they can really taste like how lucky they are to have that, to be able to play NRL as their career. Which is why you see clubs like Storm, they have so much discipline and so much, hunger, why they work so hard, because they've seen like what it's like and they know that they're fortunate to be in that position.
Yeah, I think it's just, bringing him back down to earth.
Yeah.
To the everyday man. But, in saying that, it's being advertised as, he's not being paid for his efforts, blah, blah, blah. But with his contract, he's actually been paying $16,000. He's being paid $16,000 a week for his contract.
Yeah.
So people say he's not being paid. The club says, he's not being paid for his efforts. But he's still being paid by the club for his contract. So I think in theory it's good, but realistically he's still being paid yonks for just existing pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're still waiting to hear if there'll be any further legal action to do with this. But so far this is what
the
club's
court
done.
process is still going on, so we'll let that be. But actually I did hear that the way Reece Walsh was talking about him in an interview and Adam Reynolds and stuff, even Madge, he could be back by the end of the 2025 season, which I think's crazy, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
Hopefully he's changed and learned, grown along the way. Some quick international things to be aware of. The Golden Boot Award given for the best international rugby league player.
Wow. A classic award.
So the Dalium Award is given to the best player in the NRL. It's just like one league in Australia. Whereas the Golden Boot Award, it's open to pretty much all countries. We've got the final 6 nominees. Herbie Farnworth from England, Adam Fanua-Blake from Tonga, Harry Grant from Australia, Keanu Kinney from New Zealand, and Tommy Turbo and Isaiah Yeo, both from Australia as well. So a range of countries, 4 different countries there. And that's set to be announced in early December. They haven't released an exact time yet. But stay tuned, keep your eyes on that. Who do you think has the best chance out of these 6 players? Who would you put as your best international player?
I think that Harry Grant might get it. Oh, actually, no, not Harry Grant. I'm hoping Isaiah Yeo. Isaiah Yeo or Adam Fanua-Blake, obviously. We love our Tongan underdog, so hopefully he gets it.
Yeah.
But if Isaiah Yeo gets it, I'll be pretty happy. What about you?
You're nice.
Who do you think will get it, and who are you hoping will get it?
I'd have to put my money on Adam Fanua-Blake. Being a forward, he's got a pretty similar job each game. If he doesn't score a try, it doesn't mean that he hasn't done his job, unlike maybe a fullback or a wing or someone else.
Just a lamp. Continue.
But being a prop, he shows up every game, he works hard, you see the way he dives through the line, he always has energy. Anytime he has the ball, he looks dangerous. I think watching him throughout the international Pacific Champions, I can't remember a time where he dropped the ball or missed a tackle. He was a great player to watch, and I would love to see him get the Golden Boot for Tonga.
He's earned it, and I really hope he does get it. Do you remember who won last year?
James Fisher-Harris from New Zealand. Yeah.
Nice.
He won the Golden
Obviously,
Boot.
I love James Fisher-Harris.
Yeah, and that was when...
Panther for life, even though he's moving to the Warriors.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and that was when he,
yeah.
when New Zealand beat Australia 50-0
Yeah.
in the grand final.
Being coached by Madge Maguire, no?
Crazy.
Yeah. So, awesome. Good on you. And hopefully we see Adam Flynn Blake. I'll win it this year. That's who we want.
Yeah, another person with an acronym last name playing prop.
Yeah.
That's what
Crazy.
we want to see.
It's a sign. It's a sign.
Yeah. Alright, tell us about the Tigers. What's happening there?
John Bateman being an absolute pest. So there's been some rumours surrounding him potentially having some sort of beef, some sort of feud with Benji Marshall, the coach. I haven't got too many details. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think just kind of rumours and things saying like he was walking around saying he didn't want to be there. That the Tigers stuff. Early in the year, we saw players like Lockie Galvin. Yeah, they were shining, and Benji Marshall was doing heaps to improve their game. John Bateman said he's forgotten about some of us older guys. And then you and I, we were looking at that, and we were like, he's forgotten about you guys because you guys aren't putting any effort in. You aren't showing up.
Pulling up.
Yeah, the best guy in your team is a 18-year-old rookie. He's carrying you guys. You aren't pulling your weight. Why would Benji Marshall be caring about you? You should be the one leading. You should be the one showing, not these younger guys.
Yeah, I remember watching the news and just the young gun, Lachlan Galvin, speaking to their coach, Benji Marshall, just saying he's hyped to be a part of this huge rebuild, especially, we spoke about last week, the amount of signings they've made at the end of this season. They're going to be a great, almost developed team coming into the 2025 season with Jerome Luai and stuff. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, 100%.
And even Gus Gould, one of our GOATs, said he thinks that right now their roster is a top 8 roster.
Yeah, exciting times for the Tigers. Also some maybe karma with John Bateman. The only club that was interested in him, possibly signing, was the Sea Eagles, who've now potentially lost their interest in him after seeing what a pest he's been at the Tigers. So, yeah, maybe he won't have a home in the next few years in the club.
So it's all about attitude. People would kill to be in that position. So when you're complaining, it's just like, dude, you're playing for the Tigers at a professional level. Like, that's crazy. You're in the NRL.
Yeah.
There's no time for that kind of attitude, I think.
Yeah, 100%. It's nice seeing, the younger guys, they're new to this. They have that, they recognise. Because, like, I was in high school, like, last year, and now I'm in the NRL. How crazy is that?
And, so the 5 players from last week. If some of you guys missed that episode, 5 players were breached for coming to training not in shape for some sort of reason. I'm not giving details, but we've got some further details.
Got the list right here.
Do you want to read out the names?
Latu Fainu, Solomone Siku, Solomona Fatape, and Heath Mason and Brandon Tumeth. I think they were a little better than the other 2, but they were still given warning. Than the other 3, sorry. Yeah. They were still given warnings, Heath Mason and Brandon Tumeth.
Yeah.
But
crazy. And obviously we don't like to name and shame, but
yeah, I mean, some people, it's been hard to find these names. Some people are interested in who it is, but yeah, I'm sure these players...
I think it's good that they put it in the open so that they can be held accountable.
Yeah.
From the fans as well. I think it makes it real when the public knows who it is and who's made these mistakes. That'll 100%. Be even more incentive for them to get back in line and also stay in line and stay in shape. As they should be as
professional
athletes.
Yeah. We've been praising Lockie Galvin for his character and his performance a fair bit this episode. But just one more thing about him. Despite these 5 players looking significantly unhealthy and kind of breaching their contract in terms of fitness, Lockie Galvin is looking significantly better. To quote Benji Marshall, than last year. He is going to be dangerous. We saw how good he was carrying the Tigers team.
That's what they're saying.
And he's looking not only just a bit better, not only staying the same, but significantly improved. Can you imagine?
So excited.
I'm
so excited to see what he can do.
Watch out for Lockie Galvin, guys. Tigers fans, get hyped.
And he actually dyed his hair.
He dyed his hair,
white, and he cut it all. So he's even looking a little different. But there haven't been any photos yet.
Eminem look?
Yeah, Mom Spaghetti. But there haven't been any photos as of yet of him and Jerome Luai, but once I see that combo, I'm going to get so hyped for the Tigers.
Similar to Coruscant? Similar haircut?
Yeah, a little longer. It's a little longer, but he's going for the apple look.
Coruscant is one of the elders at the Tigers. Not even that old, but one of the older people.
Yeah, the more mature players. A leader. He's a leader. And quick shout out to our boy Cheese, who actually copped his first NRL jersey.
Whoa!
This past week. And it was a Tigers jersey. And he got number 7, and he got Jessup, his last name put on it.
Oh, too good.
And yeah, number 7, who hopefully people are thinking Jerome Lyle will take up that position at halfback. So yeah, good on you, Cheese. We like seeing new supporters of the game are really diving in.
Good on you, Tigers.
Yeah,
for the
on the
most part,
Tigers.
except for a few years. But
Yeah, up the Tigs. So yeah, this week there's been some drama between two. Would you call them media representatives of the NRL? Like, how would you describe them?
Fox News. Fox Sport commentators, journalists.
Yeah. Just faces of the media in the NRL. Old blokes. They've always got something to say. They've always got their opinions. So Gus Gould, he works at the Doggies. He's a goat. And obviously we put him as our head coach for our Rooty Hill Monkeys team. So we're big fans of them. And also Buzz Rothfield. An old cat. What do you think of... So there's been some drama between them. Buzzy has been constantly digging into Gus Gould in the media. And Gus had something to say. What did you think?
Yeah, I think... over the past year, we've seen Buzz have some outrageous takes. I think often, it's him versus every other person with a brain that watches NRL. It was Gus. He consistently, he talks for the people. He tells them what they want, what they're thinking. Even when he has an outrageous opinion, you still got to get behind him. He's still Gus. So I'm not entirely sure why Buzz is, taking these digs. It might be a bit of jealousy that everyone likes Gus.
Everyone loves Gus, and not everyone loves Buzz.
Yeah.
Obviously last episode, we said that Gus Gould was a real inspiration for us as a podcast and how we wanted to run things, because he says what not everyone in the media wants to say, even if it's the truth, and we want to be like that. We want to be truth tellers in this world, even when not everybody loves to hear what we have to say.
Yeah, good on you, Gus.
On you, Gussie.
Keep doing what you do.
Yeah, the Rooty Hill Monkeys and their fan base are supporting you.
Yeah.
Hashtag Monkey Nation.
Hashtag Monkey Nation.
So this last Thursday, there was a big release from the NRL, annual release of the draw for the next season. So all of the games from Magic Round to round 27.
Crazy.
So we've got all the lists, and this always brings every year a bit of controversy. Who's versing who? Is it fair? Is it too much? What did you think?
I think one person in particular was very unhappy with this. Ricky Stewart.
He's
always got something to say.
So he's the Canberra Raiders
head coach.
He's always had some hot takes in the media. He loves going to the press, just ripping into the refs or the NRL. And he was not happy. He felt that his club was treated unfairly in the draw, and they had the...
Yeah, he said it's one of the worst draws he's seen. Completely unfair. Which is interesting because we've done a few numbers.
So we've actually gone through and ranked all the games from easiest to harder with like a point systems based off like how many bananas each banana is a...
difficulty. So -8 bananas is the absolute easiest draw.
So if you have -8 bananas, it is like crazy,
insanely easy. Like you couldn't ask for anything better. And I think the hardest one was 62.
64.
Oh, 64.
64 bananas is like the hardest of the hard. That's the person who's taking the short straw.
So our thoughts on the draw. First of all, Raiders easiest with 5. Ricky Stewart's would be complaining. And next we have Warriors. Which is good news. They have to travel the furthest. So I'm glad that at least the teams they're versing is the easiest. What's the difficulty
We've ranked
score?
them at only 12 bananas, so pretty easy. Not too much stress. And as we were saying, we're glad that a team that has to travel so much doesn't have to have too much of a hard draw going into the 2025 season. So good on the Wars.
100%.
And hopefully they do well without Sean Johnson.
Next up we've got Knights, Newcastle Knights, going up to 18 bananas.
18, still relatively nothing to stress about.
But this is already like about 3 times, almost 4 times as difficult as the Raiders draw. And this is only like the 3 easiest draws so far, and Ricky Stewart and
so I wonder whoever's up the top that they've really gotten unlucky with this one. Again, still pretty crazy, but they're chilling, the Knights with their draw.
Who do we have in 4th?
And 4th we have the Dolphins with only 20, so 2 more bananas for them. So a difficulty score of 20 bananas. I'm sure they'll be fine. Nothing to complain about.
And Dolphins have a very similar draw to the Titans, who are only slightly more difficult with the 20.5 bananas. 20 and a half. And we've got the Doggies at number 6, so pretty much smack bang in the middle-ish.
with 23 bananas. So this is where it's getting really close. Not too much spread between difficulties, which I think is good.
Yeah, it's like a bell curve graph. Like most are in like the medium difficulty, which is around this area.
And who have we got at 7?
We've got Manly. Funny little fun fact. Bulldogs and Manly are 6th and 7th on the difficulty rankings, and they're also 6th and 7th in the 2024 season ladder.
Yeah, there you go. A bit of a spooky coincidence for you.
Crazy stuff. Yeah, fun fact. If you want to tell your friends, do that. Yeah, we've got the Dragons at 27 points. They're number 8, and smack bang the middle, the most mid draw, not too good, not too bad. Who do we have?
We have the Tigers at 28 points, which is pretty easy for a team like them, especially with their spine this year. We've said it a million times now. They'll be able to deal with a difficulty score of 28 bananas.
Yeah, for sure. And then slightly more difficult than them, we have the Panthers, which I think is funny. The bottom team, Wooden Spoon, was given almost the exact same difficulty as the Tiger.
As the Panthers. But I like that because it goes to show that it's random. It's actually random.
Yeah, 100%.
If say the hardest matchups went to the Panthers and the Storms, you think, okay, well, it just depends on how they did last season, and that's not really fair.
Yeah, true.
So it's good to see that the Tigers and the Panthers have a similar level of difficulty throughout the season.
Slightly annoying though that the Raiders get the easiest draw every year.
I
And
mean,
Ricky Stewart always has something to complain about with
but it's the Raiders. No one really cares about them.
Yeah, not on anyone's radar. Broncos.
Up the Bronx.
Yeah,
the
32 bananas difficulty.
Nice. We'll see how they can do. I think they'll cope. Awesome team.
I think too, they've improved so much. I think they can take on this difficult draw.
And then next we have the Cowboys at 33, so only 1 point higher than the Bronx. Again, I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, lots of Origin players in both Broncos and Cowboys.
I'm sure that both of those teams will thrive.
Yeah, who do we have after the Cowboys? A fair bit more difficult.
Yeah, so we've got the 33 to 37 banana points to the Storm. I think because they still got Pappenhausen and they haven't really lost too many players, I think they'll be fine. Especially with that big bloke back. Do you remember his name? They've got their boy Nass back a few games in, so I'm sure that they'll cope.
He was able to serve his suspension over, I think, grand final and a few of the international games.
So I'm sure that'll be awesome for them.
Yeah, Storm are always a dominant team, even when they're missing players, even when they have a tough draw.
And you really wonder what the grand final would have been like if they had Nass in the team. But
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Big impact.
And then after the Storm, we've got
Roosters. Only slightly higher again with 38 bananas. Roosters, they've lost so many players. I had them in my cheeks category, bottom 4. And with a difficult draw, I just can't see them even making the top 8 next year.
The Roosters?
Yeah, they'll have to make some crazy signings and do some crazy developments to be up there, I think.
Yeah, and you had that post this week of, the Broncos using their infinite salary cap to get all the good players, so... there really isn't many. There really aren't many players left for the Roosters to sign, but we'll see what they can do. They've always got some sort of cheat code.
Yeah, another team that doesn't seem to be making too many signings as of yet is the Eels. It's hard to know what their team will look like. Everyone's a bit all over the place.
We've rated them at 39 bananas.
Yeah, 15th. 15th best draw, which means third most difficult for the Eels, who came very close to getting a wooden spoon last year.
Do you think that they'll get the spoon this year?
I think at the moment they are my favourite to get the spoon, but anything can happen. A lot of signings still yet to be made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see who I've got. Actually, the team that I put for my wooden spoon have the hardest draw. But we'll go second last first, which is
Sharks.
Sharks with 43. How do you feel about your team, Nico Hines, being faced with the hardest draw?
Yeah, there's been a lot of chat that Sharks will do bad this year because they did have a fairly easy draw last year compared to a few other teams. And that they'll do worse now that they have a harder draw. But most of Sharks' losses were to pretty trash teams in the bottom 8. They lost to Tigers at one point. They lost to Eels when Mitch Moses came back. They lost to the Dolphins even. A lot of their losses were just kind of off games. They were really weird. Whereas when you look at the top 8, they beat all of them except Penrith. And Penrith was the only team in the top 8 they couldn't beat.
Yeah. So I think they can do it. I mean, like, some are harder than others, but at the end of the day, if you're the best team, you'll make it to the grand final and you'll win.
100%.
And then at last,
a team who I don't think can overcome their draw, especially because we're going from 43 bananas all the way to 51 bananas.
51 bananas is crazy.
You don't get much harder than
for the
that.
team that I put out my wooden spoon, this only consolidates what I thought would happen. Is the Rabbits. Paul Wayne Bennett, he's been given a horrible team and a horrible lineup. What do you think they can do? Do you think Latrell Mitchell can get them through this or not really?
I think Latrell Mitchell is... Yeah, they're really depending on him. He has gotten a lot fitter, it seems, since his suspension. But they're going to have to pull off a miracle. They're going to have to surprise everyone, I think, to overcome this tough draw with a trash team.
And you and I love an underdog, but I don't really see them doing much this season.
Yeah, 100%. Even if they get a bit above the wooden spoon, I still don't see them coming anywhere near the top 8.
Yeah.
Looking at the level of some of these teams, like Broncos, Bulldogs, I just can't see them doing it.
Hey, how good, guys? Thanks for watching episode 3, baby.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. We really appreciated your calls and your questions.
Yeah.
Coming through again.
Yeah, we appreciate too your comments that you leave on Spotify. And if you want to leave a comment on this episode, something you can comment is who do you want to be a new NRL team? There've been talks about the Perth Bears possibly coming in.
Bears.
Done everything except signed the signature. Comment who you think should be the next NRL team, if there should be another one.
Yep. And we'll see you in the next episode, guys. How good?
See you next. Stay monkey.
Stay monkeyed up.